Spirituality is the field in which our essence takes precedence over material benefits. Now, matter includes money, possessions, health, even the functioning of our cells. That's where things can get blurry. So let's take a closer look. What do we really mean by materialism and spirituality? First, I'm not going to define spirituality through religion. Let's take a more universal, even scientific approach. Spirituality in this sense is about understanding ourselves as ethical beings, sincere souls who pay attention to the whole and to others. It's the opposite of living with a self-constructed ego that separates us from everything else. Still a bit abstract? I hear you. Let's try this. Spirituality is the ability to live with others in mind, to value collective well-being over individual gain. It's becoming more aware of life's unfolding and adjusting behaviors that don't align with a more evolved version of humanity. There's also this idea that consciousness precedes matter, that thoughts create reality instead of the other way around. That's the difference between a spiritual perspective and a materialistic one. And yes, modern science, quantum physics, biology, philosophy, is beginning to explore these same questions. But I want to make this simpler and useful. Let's consider a materialistic person as someone deeply attached to possessions, seeking personal benefit above all, or someone whose mindset is rigid, leaving no space for other voices, other ways of being. You see where I'm going? What I personally resist is the assumption that people are more spiritual just because they follow a specific religion or dogma. To me, spirituality has more to do with accepting others, respecting others, and observing ourselves enough to be willing to change. I also feel compelled to share my concern about those who take a few months of training and suddenly become gurus, teaching what they haven't yet truly lived or integrated. From another angle, spirituality can simply mean letting go, listening without judgment, remembering that we are one with everything around us, and most importantly, understanding that we can be wrong, and that's okay. We don't always need to be right. Clinging to that will only block growth. So then, what is spiritual practice? Perhaps it's anything that helps us become more thoughtful, more present, more mentally prepared for the reality of change, because everything changes. It's part of life. When I first set out on this journey, I explored many paths: religion, meditation, spiritism. I looked for insights that weren't covered in dogma. At 13, I was baptized in a Baptist church. Later, I studied Madame Blavatsky, the fourth way of Gurdjieff. I returned to my parents' faith, then stepped away again. Eventually, my path led me to India. By that point, I had a solid scientific background, and I was working with Swami Veda Bharati from the Himalayan tradition. That's when I discovered the real answers live inside, and I could only access them by calming my mind, by rebalancing my brain and endocrine system, stepping out of the way of my ego, and staying open to daily learning. That's what I share now, my offering in the field of spirituality. After choosing not to become a nun, I rejoined this beautifully chaotic world and offered what I could, with sincerity, with humility, always explaining what I know, and encouraging others to see for themselves, because each of us can access a deeper layer of reality. But first, we must quiet the noisy internal structures that rule our restless modern minds. Thank you for listening or watching. And if something in this spoke to you, I may have something to offer, something sincere, free of dogma and grounded in experience. It just might change the way you see yourself and the universe around you forever. Rejuvenating programs that I offer take all that into account, since getting healthier is the first condition to think clearly.